On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, the black hole that is crypto is continuing to suck in talent from the old financial system. In a follow-up to yesterday's news, South Korean regulators have now released their emergency response to the crypto craze over there in South Korea, and an update on BlockCAT as they announce a beta but don't really deliver on it. All of that on today's episode of the Cryptoverse, so stay tuned for that. Hi there guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. I'm your host, Chris Coney. Story number one for today is cryptocurrencies and the industry at large is poaching the top talent from the old financial system. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So the first story on this is from the CoinDesk. Facebook Messenger Vice President joins the Coinbase Board of Directors. Nice. So as time goes on, it seems like more and more of the top talent from the old financial system, they want to come over and work with the cool kids over in Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and blockchains. And so Coinbase have announced that David Marcus, the Vice President of Messaging Products at Facebook and former President of PayPal, has joined the Coinbase Board of Directors. Yikers. So that was the first thing that I saw. And then also today, I saw this post on Reddit. Actually, a link to this post on Reddit. It links to the Dash forums. And now this fellow called Bradley Zastrow has been appointed as the Director of Global Business Development for Dash Core. So this fellow spent like 17 years working for American Express. And this kind of thing not only kind of boosts the development of the cryptocurrency space at large, but I think it also legitimizes it, right? It means that the whole narrative that like cryptocurrencies, is this temporary fad or, it's something that's only used for money laundering and criminal activity. And that whole narrative just can't hold up if these reputable experts from the old financial system and the payments industry in particular start jumping ship to work for cryptocurrency startups and so on, right? They obviously see the value in it, right? And so why are they leaving the old financial system for a preferable cryptocurrency system? That just doesn't hold water, does it, right? Legitimizes it. So the second story I picked out today was, following on from yesterday, South Korea releases this emergency regulation around cryptocurrencies. So again, Bitcoin.com have reported on this because they've had a series of articles about this. And it follows from yesterday, so if you want privy to that, South Korea wanted to move quickly to crack down on the number of people buying and trading cryptocurrencies in their country. And they were particularly concerned with the number of students who were signing up to cryptocurrency exchanges like BitThumb on their phones and then buying Bitcoin and so on. So the bottom line here is that the South Korean Bitcoin exchanges will now be regulated. And in addition to that, there will be a ban on banks, miners, and foreigners trading cryptocurrencies. So in Korea, you need something that they call a virtual bank account in order to trade crypto. So the banks create these virtual bank accounts for the exchanges, and that's required in South Korea apparently. So this virtual bank account thing is what the regulators have attacked in order to put a stop to the hysteria, right? They actually say in a quote here, let's just scroll you down a little bit. A quote, it says, this is a quote from the regulators, quote, "We will not allow virtual currency transactions unless the requirements for protection of investors, transparency of transactions, and other measures are met through prompt legislation in the near future." Close quote. So this ban on foreigners is particularly interesting because we saw recently on a number of different occasions that some coins were trading at much higher prices on the Korean exchanges versus elsewhere, right? So that's where the foreigners could be taking advantage of that profit opportunity. So further down actually here in the orange, when they say, quote, Foreigners who are not residing in Korea or minors, including high school students, will not be able to open an account for virtual currency transactions in Korea. So that effectively puts a stop to arbitrage traders who would profit from the price difference in between the higher prices on the Korean exchanges and then the lower price on the non-Korean exchanges, right? You could just make a profit on the difference. So all these measures to me sounds like an attempt to cool down the hysteria rather than outright stop cryptocurrencies dead, right? They actually say as much in another quote that I've picked out here. In the yellow, it says, quote, "The ban, which has been reviewed by the Ministry of Justice, has not been adopted at the meeting," which is this emergency meeting that they had, right? "It was reported that the government was worried that if all transactions were banned, there would be controversy over infringing of private property," close quote. Now that's not something you hear governments say every day, that they want to protect private property rights. So that's why they didn't just outright ban cryptocurrencies, because people already hold these cryptocurrencies, and if they banned them, that's kind of like impinging on people's private property by banning something they've already got, right? So that is a positive sign. This approach that South Korea has taken is much more preferable to me than what China do, right? They're way too heavy-handed with it. I'm convinced that South Korea, they are generally worried about the people, and they've taken steps so they're not being irresponsible, but they haven't gone overboard like China does. So I'm quite liking their approach to this. Now let's move on to the third story for today. BlockCAT launches a beta. Do they? Well, sort of. This was announced on their Medium account here. If you're new to the channel, then you may not have been around when I originally covered BlockCAT when it first appeared as a project. You know, I like to keep my eye on various or previous stories because it's nice to get an update every now and again when there's some new news and it's an ongoing thread, right? And if you're not familiar with BlockCAT, they're basically building a marketplace for smart contract templates. So ultimately this means that anyone will be able to just buy a smart contract template off the shelf and then run it on the Ethereum network without any programming expertise whatsoever. So, for example, this is what the beta version looks like. I went to the BlockCAT beta here and I created a new ERC20 token just by filling in a simple online form. So you click this ERC20 token button and it just creates a simple online form. You give the token a name, a ticker symbol, a description, how many decimal places you want, how many total coins are there, is the supply fixed, are they locked so you can't transfer them, and so on and so on and so on. And then it shows here a fee of 10 CAT tokens, which is the BlockCAT token. And then you click create contract, right? So I did that before I started recording because first thing I do is play with this stuff. Once you've done that, you go to the manage contracts section. And if I go here, you can see that I've already created a Lambo coin with 500,000 tokens, which I can then say sell to raise funds to buy my Lamborghini for Christmas, right? Now, if I go back to the creation section, which starts me right back at the beginning of the process, creating an Ethereum-based token of your own is the most obvious use case, right? The most obvious template that someone might want to buy. However, there are a bunch of others here, like a template to run your own token sale or making regular automated payments. That's kind of an interesting one because at the moment you can't do recurring payments or subscriptions or billings with cryptocurrencies because you have to authorize every single transaction. Whereas with that, the wallet automation, you could set it up to say on the 1st of every month, pay X utility company, X Ether or whatever it is, right? Now that proposes a challenge with the fluctuating price of Ether, but you get the idea. That's an external problem. Now they call this a beta version, but I don't think that's a fair label because it's a simulation, right? It doesn't actually interact with the Ethereum network at all. So yeah, fine, call it a simulation or a demo, but not a beta, right? Not a beta, whichever way you say it. You know, a beta version typically means you have a working product, right? Just the proviso of the beta part is that There may be the odd bug here and there, but it does actually work. But this, what they've presented here, it falls way short of what I would expect from a beta version. So that's my only major criticism of it. When I heard beta version, I was like, whoa, it's going to actually work, right? You can actually use it for real, just watch out for the bugs. I also purchased some BlockCAT tokens, by the way, so I'm not being overly critical. I bought some right after I did my last report because I like the idea. They do have a couple of competitors as well. There's Ether Party, similar sort of thing, building these pre-made smart contracts that you can just buy and run, so that smart contracts are not just the reserved for the high expertise of Ethereum developers, and then everybody can use the Ethereum network to do all the wonderful things that you can do with it, right? So we'll keep an eye on this project, but that's all for now, guys. Thanks very much for joining me today. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you're new around here, get subscribed. And if you would like access to my very best material, such as my structured online courses that will teach you things like how to make and save money with Bitcoin, check out my website, which is cryptoversity.com. Click on the eye in the top right corner there. That'll take you through to the site. Click the courses button, and it will show you all the online courses that you can take that I've created for your educational pleasure. Alright guys, that is all for today. I'll be back probably on Monday with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.